Running a caulking gun by hand is a proper skill, but 20 cartridges in, your wrist starts complaining and the bead comes out in stutters. Battery-powered guns rewrite that equation completely. Constant thrust, adjustable flow, and a uniform finish even if you have never done it before. These are the 7 best models you can actually get hold of in Europe right now, covering everything from redoing the bathroom at home to injecting anchoring resin into stone walls, and each one suits a very specific kind of user. All the links are down in the description. Let's dive in. We open with the Einhell TESG 1810, the most logical way in if you already own anything from the power exchange system. 2,000 newtons of thrust, which translates to roughly 200 kilos of force crushing the plunger, and standard rigid cartridges of 310 milliliters. What I like most about this machine is how slim it is. With no closed aluminum barrel in the way, you get a clear line of sight all the way to the nozzle tip, and when you are running a long bead along a worktop, that is worth its weight in gold. There is an LED light, a small dial at the base of the handle to set extrusion speed, and a cartridge holder that spins freely so you attack corners by rotating the nozzle instead of twisting your wrist. The automatic plunger return releases pressure the moment you let go of the trigger, and dripping all but disappears. With neutral silicones, acrylics, and painter's filler, it is more than enough. Feed it a dense polymer at 5 degrees in January and the motor is working right at its ceiling, so if that is your line of work, keep watching. It ships as a bare tool with no battery or charger, which is brilliant if you already own cells from the brand, and pointless if you are starting from scratch. The second one goes in completely the opposite direction. The Shal 21-volt unit is not chasing brute force. It wants you to forget you are holding a tool at all. It weighs 1 kilo 380 grams without the battery, which makes it the undisputed champion of overhead work. 4 digital speeds up to 200 millimeters per minute of travel, a focused LED, and a full case with 2 batteries of 2 amp hours, a fast charger, and a generous set of smoothing spatulas. While you empty cartridges with one cell, the other is back to full in a couple of hours. Its anti-drip system does not simply cut power to the motor either. The electronics fire a sharp reverse spin that physically pulls the plunger back a millimeter or two. With very runny acrylics, the ones that keep oozing out on residual pressure alone, the difference is night and day. Its 2,000 newtons keep it out of chemical anchor territory, but for maintaining a whole house, it is a cracking buy. Now picture wanting that same lightness with considerably more muscle. That is exactly the CCCG 110P, and it is one of those products that genuinely throws you. 300 kilos of thrust, nearly 3,000 newtons, in a tool weighing 1 kilo 20 grams. The power-to-weight ratio here is the best in the whole list, no argument. 4 speeds, automatic retraction, and a kit with 2 batteries, charger, and finishing tools. But the detail that makes it special sits in the contact plate at the base. It takes Makita 18-volt batteries directly. If you already have 3 or 4 knocking about in the van, you have just multiplied your runtime without spending another penny. One thing worth knowing though, and hardly anyone mentions it, third-party tools do not carry the smart communication pin of the Japanese system, so the battery never receives the stop command and relies purely on its own internal electronics. Translation: do not run it flat. Enormous productivity trick, but it asks for a bit of common sense. A plasterboard fitter firing construction adhesive behind dozens of panels or someone sealing guttering up a ladder will work out in 5 minutes why this featherweight is so addictive. And now we reach the monster of the comparison. The Makita DCG 180Z is not a subtle tool and never pretends to be. 5,000 newtons of continuous thrust, which is half a metric ton pressing on that cartridge. It is the mechanical ceiling of the 18-volt market, travel adjustable from 0 to 28 millimeters per second through a dial and a variable trigger, a cartridge holder that rotates a full 360 degrees, an LED with pre-glow and afterglow, and the star protection circuit monitoring temperature and voltage throughout. If the cartridge jams and the motor starts pulling amps like mad, the chip cuts out within milliseconds and saves both the motor and the battery. This is where it truly shines, restoring a stone farmhouse, bolting canopies onto a facade, injecting 2-part vinyl ester resin that has to fight its way through the entire spiral of the static mixer nozzle. By hand on a winter morning, that is a losing battle. With this, it comes down to squeezing a trigger. The trade-off is equal parts funny and fierce. If the nozzle has cured and you do not clear it, the gun will not back down, it keeps pushing, and the thing that eventually gives is the cartridge. Titanic force treated with respect. After that beast, the Taskstar TG 120P plays a very different card: technology. It runs a brushless motor, no carbon brushes at all, normally reserved for the top ranges of the big names. It runs cooler, far quieter, and there is no friction wear. 250 kilos of thrust, 5-step speeds up to 220 millimeters per minute, and once again, direct compatibility with Makita 18-volt batteries. The clever part of a brushless motor is not just the runtime. The electronics break the rotor in the exact millisecond you lift your finger. Clean cutoff, no torque jolt, none of that exaggerated rack retraction. Picture a soundproofing job applying viscoelastic compound to the hidden face of dozens of plasterboard sheets. You finish the day with fewer battery swaps and without a high-pitched whine drilling into your skull. The cells in the kit do the job, though with original batteries, the tool performs on another level. If that one bet on the motor, the DeWalt DCE 560 bets on control. 2,500 newtons and the finest manual modulation you will find anywhere. A top dial that caps maximum speed paired with a variable speed trigger underneath that lets you correct flow on the fly, millimeter by millimeter. Travel of up to 12 millimeters per second, an anti-vibration molded grip, and an auxiliary spike for piercing the inner seal on fresh cartridges. A window fitter pushing a thick bead of dense polyurethane on a damp winter morning will notice the motor never once bogs down. It measures nearly half a meter, so inside a kitchen cabinet or a narrow service duct, it is out of its element, and there one of the lightweights from earlier wins the day. In exchange, it hides an ace. With the aluminum conversion barrels, you transform it to accept 600 milliliter sausages or huge industrial cartridges. Buy one tool, take home 3. We close with the Bosch GCG 18-volt 600, and it is the cleverest of the class. 3,500 newtons with a deliberately restrained flow rate between 7 and 8 millimeters per second. Sounds modest until you understand the logic. It favors constant torque over explosive speed, which stops the foil sausage crumpling internally or generating bubbles that would wreck your bead finish. Pure engineering brilliance. Its anodized aluminum barrel accepts 400 and 600 milliliter sausages and rigid cartridges straight out of the box, with nothing extra to buy, which nothing else here manages. The 9-position dial is the finest adjustment on the market. It also runs on the AMP Share Alliance, so the same batteries feed tools from other partner brands. It is over 60 centimeters long and asks for both hands to aim precisely, meaning it is built for anyone who puts large formats and days measured in dozens of sausages above everything else. Rounding up by profile. If you work heavy masonry, 2-part resins, and genuine cold, the Makita is the only serious answer. If your business is facades, glazing, and getting through 600 milliliter sausages by the crate, the Bosch for native versatility and control. For the all-rounder switching between interior and exterior who wants the best trigger modulation, the DeWalt. If you already live inside the Japanese ecosystem and want a brushless motor without overspending, the Taskstar. For the best power-to-weight ratio when working at height, the CC. For heavy domestic maintenance, ceilings, and skirting boards for hours on end, the Shal with its complete case. And if your garage is already full of power exchange, the Einhell automates every joint in the house for an unbeatable price. All the links are in the description, in the same order as the video. Tell me in the comments which one you went for and what material you tend to apply.